You know, some people are afraid of wearing a red lip, and this to me is definitely a must-have. This is my new Rosey Nude lip color. This red looks good on every woman. This is like my bring to lunch or to party, and it's gonna look good on every woman there. So we're gonna start Kristen's makeup with a little bit of priming vitamin serum, and I actually really was emphatic about calling it a vitamin serum because it is infused with B, C, and E, and it will shed any dead skin, and it'll soothe and protect the new skin. And so it really, what it does, it almost kind of gives you a resurfacing so that when you put on your foundation, you have this picture perfect finish and that everything looks really, really smooth. So we're just gonna put a little bit into the palm of my hand and then rub it together and then just go all over Kristen's face. The other thing though that I want to say about the vitamin serum is that you don't have to put makeup on over it. It's so healthy and good for your skin. It can absolutely be worn alone. So don't think you have to partner it with a foundation. Like if you want to use a primer on its own, it's fantastic. It's just another great protectant for the skin. So I'm going to use the Tape Cover Concealing Stick, and this is in Daylight. And again, Kristen isn't dark at all under the eyes, just a lot of redness. So we're just going to, again, cover up the redness. Concealer should not be overly light. If you go too light, it actually causes more attention to the problem area. So I always think it's actually a little bit safer to go slightly warmer than actually too light. Again, the most important factor with concealer is getting the right shade, and the rest of it is up to you. You can use, there's many different types of concealers. I have a Hidden Agenda concealer palette, I have the sticks, and then I also have a fluid. So all of those, just different finishes, different type of coverages, but totally your decision, just get the color right. Kristen is still a bit tanned from the summer, so her body color is a little bit warmer than her face. If you are in between shades, definitely shy on the warmer side. It makes the skin look prettier than going too light. So as I spoke about with concealer, edge a little bit warmer, and the same thing with a foundation. And I'm using the foundation brush to apply. And Kristen has also a little bit of hyperpigmentation from the sun. So I'm going right over the concealer because you want to bring that all to one tone. You're always like kind of double layering underneath the eye. First your concealer and then your foundation. And the color is just a hair warmer than her neck. So the key here is I'm going to put a little bit onto the neck and just blend it down. And it's funny, we all kind of get these little white spots in the summer in the middle of our neck because no sun is hitting there. So I just warm that up ever so slightly. And the thing that's great is all of a sudden now, this all becomes one tone with very little product. So I'm just going over the brow as well and just filling it ever so slightly on the forehead. And while her face is nice and has a lot of luminosity, I'm going to use my flat top blusher brush and just throw a little bit of tone into the cheek with the sheer liquid tint. Realistically, if you wanted to and you just wanted to look pulled together, you could just walk out like this with beautiful looking skin, a bit of tone in the cheek, and you're ready to go. I'm going to put a little bit of sheer loose powder to protect any fallout that could occur when I'm putting on Kristen's eyeshadow. So just super light so that, again, if anything falls out, it falls into the powder and not into the area that I've just concealed. Now on Kristen's brows here, she needs filling in to bring the beginning of the brow to the same tone as the rest of the brow. So I'm just going to take and use the Taupe brow pencil, and almost in little mini strokes, I'm going to fill in that area until it kind of comes to the tone of the rest of the brow where it's not overly done And the key is to make it all look super, super natural. The key with a red mouth is you don't want it to be overly defined. So I stay really soft initially on the lip line where I start filling in. And you see, I'm leaving that outer lip line really soft and undefined yet. Then I'll start coming towards the outer edge with it, but keeping it really soft and then using my finger to keep softening that line so it's not a strong defined line. And by doing it this way, you have a lot more cheating room. We talked about, you know, makeup is a great cheat to make everything perfect. This is another thing, because if you make that line too strong, if there is any imperfection, you're gonna see it. So I'm gonna go in and do all of my fill-in work and then kind of hit my lip line, then take my finger and soften that line. Also, you can control the intensity of the color. You can put it on more sheer or put it on, you know, super opaque. And then on the upper lip line, I like to come from the corner of the lip and then work my way up, joining into the rest of the mouth. On the top, I'll go corner to corner. And you don't have to overdraw it too big. Again, you want to keep that lip line soft, and then I take my finger and I soften those edges. The thing that's great is that you can have a strong red mouth, but it doesn't jump away from the face so much. We're gonna curl the lashes up, and I'm gonna show just the combination of wearing a simple neutral shade. You don't have to wear a shadow. I put foundation across the lid, and you could just at this point now add a little bit of mascara and Kristen will be ready to go. If I'm using a neutral eyeshadow and something brown and I want a little bit of a base in there, I take my pencil. This is Mahogany eye pencil. You can see the eyelid is still moist, so there's just a little bit of foundation. And I literally just use it as a base color. Just kind of color in the whole lid. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I kind of get my base on there. I take a Kleenex and a large eyeshadow brush. Again, use your brush for the size of the area you're working in. So I'm gonna lay this, so you can see this fits across the whole lid. So I'm gonna start breaking down this pencil and blend it all out. And I take it to right beyond the crease, because if you don't go beyond the crease, you're not creating any contour. I wipe off my brush to make sure that I'm not moving that color into areas that I don't want it to go to. So I'm really in control of that color. Once I have it at the level of intensity where it's kind of all blended out and gives me a really nice base, then I powder it. Again, using my small multi-purpose powder brush. Because it's a cream, I worked with a pencil, which is a cream. If you do not set it, it's gonna move, it's gonna crease. So you have to set, whenever you're working with any kind of creamy product, you have to set it with powder to keep it in place. So I'm just dusting a bit of powder over the whole eyelid. And I actually am even dusting a little bit of that powder right over that brow. Remember when I used that brow pencil, it was a cream. So just by putting a little bit of powder over that brow, again, it's holding it in place. Now I'm gonna go over what I've just put down as a base and powder with a little bit of a neutral brown from the Neutral Eye Palette. This palette, again, a makeup bag must have. So again, when you're working with a palette like this, you can control, you know, what it is you want to do. Because of the stronger mouth on Kristen, I'm just using one shade across the whole lid. If I had a softer mouth with Kristen, I might get into darker lash line and then contouring and doing a few more different things. But because I want something very simple to balance, you know, to work with that red mouth, that the focus is really on that red mouth, I'm keeping that eye quite neutral. To me, this is such a classic face that, you know, is timeless. Really simple, classic. It will take you anywhere, winter, spring, summer, or fall.